What are you, a Yankee fan?
Yeah.
Sit down. No, come over here. Sit over here next to me. So you must be pretty upset after the Yankees lost.
Bill Mazeroski. I hate him. He made Mickey Mantle cry. The paper said that the Mick was crying.
Mickey Mantle, is that what you're upset about? Mickey Mantle makes $100,000 a year. How much does your father make?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, see, if your father can't pay the rent, go ask Mickey Mantle and see what he tells you. Mickey Mantle don't care about you, so why should you care about him?
It's a Sid Rosenberg Show on 640 Sports right now.
You know, I think the Jets obviously played better football than we did overall today. We had opportunities in the second half to get back in the game and opportunities to win the game. But I give them credit, they played better. We made some plays, but we didn't really make any plays in the first half. And so when you don't make plays in the first half, you end up down 20-7.
Joe, are you worried about your job security?
No, not at all. I'm worried about getting this team straightened out and fixed and getting our team ready to play the Tennessee Titans.
For Fears, 7-Eleven on your Monday morning. Welcome back to the Sid Rosenberg Show, 7-Eleven Quack Quack. 844-640-6464. Dolphin head coach Joe Philbin, after once again the Dolphins were humiliated, this time in London by the New York Football Jets. 27-14 the final score. The Jets improved to 3-1. Having a pretty good start here under Todd Bowles. An off week this week, then they'll host the 2-2 Washington Redskins. As for Miami, after beating those aforementioned Redskins week 1, they've now lost 3 games in a row, and they've looked awful. Not just losing those 3 games to Jacksonville, Buffalo, and now the Jets, but coming out dead, unprepared, lousy on offense, lousy on defense, lousy on special teams. And he should be fired today. And again, I say this after putting on my Facebook page yesterday and my Twitter page. I always feel really uncomfortable talking about somebody getting fired because I've been there. It's a little different, as I mentioned earlier, for me because I still live paycheck to paycheck. Even at the highlight of my career, when I was hosting middays doing the Giants and working for Imus, I never made enough money where I was ever really comfortable. Philbin makes $6 million a year, so he's already about $20 million in. So if he gets fired today, he's going to be okay. He can go to Publix. He can go to New York Prime. But it's still humiliating, and it sucks. And I always feel badly encouraging some team to fire somebody, but he needs to get fired. Year 1, they were a losing team. Year 2, 500 football and failed in December. Year 3, 500 football and failed in December. Year 4, after spending all that money on Sue and a host of others, 1-3. And they look awful. Even their only win, they looked awful. They're not prepared. They're off this week, then they play the Tennessee Titans on the road in Week 5. You've got plenty of time now, with a week off, with the bye week, to bring somebody else in or to promote somebody. And it doesn't matter whether there's somebody on this team who's capable of doing it or not, because Philbin's not. I mean, he's already proven that. So if you want to salvage some of the season, or at least keep the fans interested, I mean, look, these are lousy fans anyway. I always say this, not to anger the people here, but they're the worst fans in football. I really believe that. They're fickle. They're uneducated. It's a bad team. Even the broadcast team is a joke. Everything about this team is a joke. It just is. But if you want to salvage something, Fire the guy. At least tell the fans after years and years, I mean almost 2 decades of mediocre football, even Jimmy Johnson won dick, that we're not going to stand for this. I like Joe. He's a good guy, but something needs to be done is the point now. And with the bye week coming up and riding a 3-game losing streak, 0-2 inside the division, you do it now. That's my opinion.
You're right about that. And what's funny is, no, not so funny, but it's his hand is being forced right now. I mean, he's got to do it now because you can't wait till how many more? You can't do it like 3 games down the road.
No.
Fire him, give him a couple more games.
No.
I mean,
you got to come out today. According
he's either got to keep him or fire him.
That's it.
Today. Yeah.
According to Mike Florio, Peter King, the guys at NBC, Stephen Ross has told Joe Philbin he'll make a decision today. That you do one of 2 things: either you give him the full season endorsement, so we don't do this every single week. So every week, Armando Salguero and Omar Kelly and Dave Hyde don't write fire the coach. You either give him the season-long endorsement and say, don't bother me for 12 weeks, or you fire him. One or the other. He's either here to fail or he's fired. Ron, good morning.
Hey, Sid. This is Ron from Boca.
Hi.
Listen, I listened to that broadcast of the game from London yesterday, and it's impossible to listen to Joe and Bob Greasy. They're such homers. It's impossible. It's like listening to a Chicago Cub or White Sox game. They are so bad. The other team is doing everything wrong, and their team is always, everything they do is right. I don't know how anybody listens to them. I just shut them off after about 5 minutes.
Well, nobody does. I mean, unfortunately, look, you're right. I mean, unfortunately, Jim Mandich, God rest his soul, he wasn't like that. Listen, there was nobody more rah-rah than Jimmy. But when he had to be, he was a bit critical of the team. Joe Rhodes is a joke. Jimmy Sepolo is probably the worst play-by-play guy in the game. And Bob Greasy, unfortunately, he remembers when the Dolphins, he was there when they won Super Bowls and went undefeated, and he'll always love this team, and I get it. But as a trio, Sepolo, Rose, and Greasy, they may be the worst in football. I hate to say that. Some of those guys are decent guys, but they really do suck. They may be worse than the team, if that's possible. Ralph, good morning. How are you, pal?
I'm doing great. Great show again, like always, and a great lead-in song, the last segment with Hey Jude. But you got to include Imagine in there, John Lennon.
Yeah, but that's not a Beatles song. That's John solo, yes?
John Lennon.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That wasn't a Beatles song. That was a John Lennon song.
Exactly. Okay.
Right.
Listen, great day to be a Jet fan this morning, okay? We hung out at the Orlando Ale House in Winter Park, the Villages Winter Park. Great crowd out there. We had a blast. We recommend that in 2 weeks, any Jet fan that's in the Orlando area, come on out there and feel the electricity like the Dolphins felt the electricity that the Jets put on them in London. Number 2, Stephen Ross needs to play like the Donald and fire him once and for all.
Right. You're fired. Exactly, like the Donald. Ralph, we love you. You and Stephanie. Glad you enjoyed the Jet game, and they do look very, very solid here, starting the first quarter of the season at 3-1. But yes, pull a Donald. We played Donald earlier from Meet the Press yesterday. Chuck Todd gets Donald Trump every week now. Excuse me. And I thought Donald Trump was very good on the whole gun thing. Of course, I say that because he agrees with me. That's how I grade people these days. If you agree with me, then you sound very, very good.
Oh, well, that seems a little slanted.
Oh, be quiet. Here are the latest numbers. In New Hampshire, Donald Trump, 21%. Carly Fiorina, 16%. Ben Carson is in third. So Trump's lead is down in the polls. His numbers are shrinking, like your penis, but he's still winning.
Well, I'm getting old.
Yeah. We can get this if you want from NBC because somebody asked us earlier what the exact numbers were and if, in fact, his numbers really are shrinking. And we can get this from there's Andrea Mitchell talking about it right now. Oh, good for Andrea. Been on the show a bunch.
If the TV was plugged into the board,
well, when are they going to do that already? It's been three goddamn weeks.
Brian delivered us some very horrible news that he's found there's no outputs on this TV, if you can believe that, in 2015.
No outputs?
No outputs. Only inputs.
That's impossible.
So basically, you can't run anything to this board. So now they're looking into getting us a new TV.
Oh, God.
With outputs.
What a disaster.
So we don't have the TV quite.
This looks like a great piece here. You've got Savannah Guthrie, Andrea Mitchell, Hillary Clinton, Al Roker's in the rain. I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you that about 7 months ago, I'm going to tell you that most of America had no idea who Nikki Haley was. In fact, we still have no idea, do you? Nikki Haley, Eric, you have any idea who that is?
Nikki Haley?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, don't feel badly. About 7 months ago, nobody else did either. But South Carolina has become the scene for a couple of major stories. She's the governor, just so you know, of South Carolina.
Okay.
She obviously became, everybody knew who she was with the horrific shooting at the church in Charleston, South Carolina last summer. And Nikki Haley was really the force behind removing the Confederate flag from South Carolina. That's Nikki Haley.
Okay.
Well, she's back in the news today. She's been on television all morning long, and this time it's the flooding. 5 dead, curfews ordered, hundreds rescued, several interstates closed. Nikki Haley said moments ago on television, this is the rain of 1,000 years. It is so bad in South Carolina.
I saw the videos. I mean,
how bad is it?
Are they like below sea level or something?
Yes,
oh, okay.
I believe they are.
Because the flooding is like up.
It's not like Katrina, though, is it?
Like waist high.
But it's not like Katrina. I mean,
well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the houses are ruined. I mean, once the water, is about waist high, it's coming in the houses.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, I saw people, sitting on their roofs, and I saw people, floating boats down the street. Right. You're driving, so
floating cars down the street. Kenny, what's going on, pal?
What's up, City? How you doing, man?
Good, thanks.
Hey, listen. First off, from Friday, thanks for letting me get that out of me about my cousin.
Yeah, we're sorry about
you
that.
Don't know what that. Yeah, you don't know what that meant to me, man. But let me get to it real quick. The Jets, man. Balls is the real deal, man. You see how he got them the rebound after the loss from last week?
Yep.
See, that's something they couldn't do under Rex. Rex couldn't get them to do that. The Dolphins made a big mistake when they had Balls as their interim coach. I said they should keep him. This guy's the real deal. But no, they didn't. They went and got this guy. And now look what it's gotten them. Number 2, the Mets-Dodgers series, man. Do you know that the tickets for Game 1, I went online, $58 for Game 1?
$58 in Los Angeles for Game 1?
I'm starved. I checked this morning.
Wow.
Game 3 in New York, $190.
Yeah, big difference. Yeah, the Dodgers have been to the playoffs 6 of the last 10 years, 3 straight under Don Mattingly. When the Mets make the playoffs, it's almost like a lunar eclipse. So and plus it's New York, even though LA's a bigger market. So as big a market, I should say. So no surprise there.
No, well, you got $58 at the ball?
Do I have a what?
$58 at the ball.
Yeah, $58 you could borrow? I actually don't. I came to work this morning with $40, and after my $6.13 at McDonald's, I'm down to $33.87, to be exact. This is according to Ricky Balufe. Dams across America are unattended by inspectors due to a lack of funding. Well, we know that. We know that the infrastructure in the United States, in fact, Donald Trump talked about this last week, once again bringing up the Donald, is a big mess. Bridges, dams, roads, it is a mess. And unfortunately, when you get natural disasters like this, they come to the forefront. Here's Steve on a mobile. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Sydney. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Watching my Hurricanes lose the other night did not leave me all that upset. Watching the Dolphins put up another pathetic, embarrassing, display did not leave me upset. Sitting here in my car this morning and hearing that you, of all people, are dealing with a TV that has no output.
Unreal.
It's very unreal. And I mean, what do they have you with, a 27-inch Magnavox and a wood cabinet sitting on the table?
It's funny you say that. I used to sell those. My brother-in-law, Albert, his store is Brooklyn Magnavox on Nostrand Avenue. No, this is a flat-screen TV.
I think I have a 30-inch Pro Scan in my back bedroom with 3 HDMI outputs and inputs that I bought 10 scratching them for $90.
Yeah.
I'll drop it off with a donut and a coffee tomorrow. For God's sake.
No, it is pathetic. I'm with Steve. Thank you, Steve.
That's great.
It is hard to believe.
That's why I prefaced it by saying it's hard to believe in 2015.
Because one of the beauties about what we've done here the last 3 years in Pompano, that complete disaster was that when something was running, whether it was MSNBC, NBC, CNN, ESPN, NFL Network, it didn't matter. You were able to punch it up live on the board right away. So if something was going down without me explaining it to you, we had live television coverage. And that's over now.
Well, until they get us a new TV with output.
You know how long this one took?
Well, I have a feeling they'll effort this. They'll put this to the front of the list.
Yeah.
Yes.
The front of what list?
The list of the to-do list.
You're such an idiot. You know
What
that?
do you mean?
Who told you that? Was that the exact verbiage used? We're going to put it in the front of the to-do list?
No.
Okay.
It was not at all, unfortunately. But I like to think positive.
Right. Brian Balding, we're talking NFL. The NFL Week 4 ends tonight. Monday Night Football. And it's the Seahawks taking on the Lions. Week 5 starts on Thursday with a lousy matchup. Just so you know, the Texans taking on the Colts. I think Jerry Krasnick will stop by today and talk about these baseball playoffs. The Yankees will host a playoff game tomorrow night in the Bronx against the Houston Astros. Dallas Keuchel on the mound for Houston. Tanaka will pitch for the Yanks. If the Yankees win, that means they move on and start a series Thursday in Kansas City. If the Yankees lose, Houston will start a series Thursday in Kansas City. The other American League Series has the Blue Jays taking on the Texas Rangers. That starts on Thursday as well. NL, the Cubs will play the Pirates on Wednesday night. That's their wild card game. Jake Arrieta on the mound for Chicago. Garrett Cole for the Pirates. The winner of that game starts their series Friday in St. Louis against the Cardinals. And, of course, my New York Mets start their playoff journey Friday as well in Los Angeles with Jacob deGrom on the mound against the Dodgers. 844-640-6464. Back on a busy Monday right after this.
Welcome back to the Sid Rosenberg Show.
Trump has tapped into the red-blooded American bloodstream right now. The people that are sick of watching a skinny community organizer go out there and run this country into the ground, and they want to see a more muscular approach.
You refer to your president as skinny community organizer?
I do.
Disrespectful.
I don't think so. I think you've said a lot worse about Republicans.
Trump, who is my friend, is going to learn that immigration is like a cheap drug. You get a big bang, a real quick high, and a very long hang.
Well, it's not a quick high when people are being murdered in San Francisco, and it's not a quick high when people are escaping prisons in Mexico and selling heroin and cocaine to our children.
Misery of that family.
It's not exploiting it.
It is exactly.
You're exploiting it by downplaying
nothing to do with immigration.
How does it not? It's a sanctuary policy.
You've been doing this on the air. You're equating Trump's comments with all immigrants. What he had said was, and we've talked about this quite a bit, is Trump's comments specifically pointed at illegals.
I'm talking about the reaction to Trump, and you tell me that it's not an immigration response.
I think, and Jesse's right. I think that it is tapping into the
It is
exploiting.
It is exploiting. And sensationalizing.
From a guy who exploits and sensationalizes everything.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
You're lucky that you're my friend. I'd knock you out right now.
Well,
that's absolute BS.
We can take this up later. How are you saying,
that is absolute bogus.
How are you saying that Trump is exploiting?
I exploit and sensationalize. What do you do? Where do you get your stuff from?
I'm right-wing. You're saying that Donald Trump is exploiting a woman's death.
Get out.
It's her death.
It's Sid Rosenberg on 640 Sports.
You said you're hurting not only for what's going on in your family, but obviously for those other families that have been impacted.
Absolutely. It has been, as I said before, devastating for me and my family. But we're not alone in this. My heart goes out to all the other families that were affected by this. And I know words will not bring your families back, and I know that nothing I can say can change what happened. But please believe me, my thoughts are with all of those, and I hope that they can get through this. Sometimes you try to find the right words, and there really isn't. There's nothing I can really say and find the right words. It's just, sometimes it's overwhelming, and, trying to understand how it could happen, it's just, it's incredible. I mean, I'm at a loss for words right now, even. He'll always be remembered for what he did on Thursday, I know that. I can't change that. At the moment, I'm just leaving up to the police to do their investigations as to, his history and everything in his background. And I'm sure they will announce what they find, all in good cause. Right now, I'm just going to leave it up to them. The only thing I would like to say, the question that I would like to ask is how on earth could he compile 13 guns? How can that happen? They talk about gun laws, they talk about gun control. Every time something like this happens, they talk about it and nothing is done. I'm not trying to say that that's the blame for what happened, but Chris had not been able to get a hold of 13 guns, it wouldn't have happened.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, and packed we're out on loan. Riders on the storm. There's a killer.
That's the shooter from Oregon. That's his father. I refuse to say the guy's name. You know what the good news is? I don't even know his name. I know his name is Chris, but
I really don't know either. I know he's got 3 names.
I know that too, but I don't know it.
Yeah.
Like, I know the other guy's names. I'm not going to mention the guy from South Carolina. I know his name or whatever. This guy, I don't even know his name. But that was his father, and his father talked about, for a second, I thought he was blaming the mother. He's like, how was he able to stockpile 13 weapons? And he's talking about gun laws, but last I checked, Oregon is a gun-free zone, right?
Well, the school was. I don't know about the entire state, or I don't know how with their particular laws over any other different state.
Right.
But
as Donald Trump made the point this weekend on Meet the Press, and it's unarguable, and again, don't get me wrong, for you one-trick pony liberals, I'm okay with stricter gun laws. I'm okay with it. But Chicago is as strict as it gets, and they got more gun violence than anybody. It's just not about the guns. You guys just don't seem to understand that. This kid, Matt Witter, his mother, Stacy Witter, local politician. Matt used to intern for me, went to Florida State. He's an annoying little liberal bastard. And he's like putting on my Facebook page, because I said on my Facebook page, which got a lot of readers and a lot of pub this weekend, that if you think guns kill people, you're a moron. And you are a moron. A gun is not going to jump off a table and pull the trigger by itself. Now, unfortunately, yes, you can do a lot more carnage with guns than a knife. A guy's not going to start wielding a knife and walking around a classroom and in all likelihood kill 10 people. So I understand that guns allow the crazies to do the damage, but a gun has never, ever pulled the trigger by itself, ever. Crazy, deranged, sick, angry people kill, and they will always kill. Whether it's hard to get a gun, it's easy to get a gun. So I'm all for it. Go ahead, make the gun laws as strict as you possibly can. Go for it. Guess what? Guys like this guy, they're still going to kill. They'll find a way. They'll get a gun. There's 400 million guns on the street. You're not getting rid of those. I mean, it's just, it's insane. Guns kill. Jill Flipper Vitale. I call her Flipper. She's a producer for the Curtis and Kuby show on after Imus and Geraldo on WABC. She called me a dummy on my Facebook page. She goes, of course guns kill. Yeah, guns kill. And here's Geraldo Rivera. You just heard the rejoin there when Geraldo threatened to punch that guy across the face.
I punch you in the face.
You know, he did it again this weekend. He's getting crazy, Geraldo.
We got to find some audio on that.
Fox News personality Geraldo Rivera, who's my good buddy, so I always felt badly about saying my friends are crazy. But Geraldo Rivera went on a Facebook rant within hours of the mass shooting in Oregon, said America is a gun-sick nation. The Second Amendment is bullcrap. That's what he said. He wrote, the gun lobby controls the country and allows armed, maniacal lunatics to roam free and kill. By Friday morning, Rivera was egging on President Obama to get tougher on the National Rifle Association. Quote, you blame the gun lobby. Why not take them on, confront the NRA, and call out every hack whoever took money from them? And that's about the extent of it, but Geraldo is... Does he want to get rid of the Second Amendment? Really?
Hey, we can't get rid of it. I mean, you want to talk about getting attacked.
Let me ask you a question. What if somebody else in the classroom had a gun? We've done this a million times. The guy in Lafayette, Louisiana, when he stood up in the movie theater. The guy in Aurora, Colorado, when he stood up in the movie theater. Chattanooga was nothing you could do about that. Fort Hood, nothing you could. Well, they had guns there. I shouldn't say that. But what if, in fact, this guy gets up in the classroom in Oregon, and behind him is somebody else with a gun, and they blow his freaking brains out after he kills 1 or 2 people instead of 10. Now, this guy's going to get a gun no matter what because he's trying to obtain a gun illegally. So he's going to get it. But what about the folks who can legally carry firearms and maybe save lives? Why does that never come up with these gun control freaks ever? or the thousands of stories that are never reported about a home invasion or a break-in that ends with the intruder getting shot and or scared out of the house because somebody shoots their gun? Why are those stories never reported? But as soon as these things happen, like in Oregon, here comes the gun control argument. And again, I'm okay with it. What I'm telling you is go for it. Make them as strict as possible. It ain't going to matter. Because crazy is going to kill. It's not going to matter. I'll still want to try. I'm not going to sit here and do nothing. See, doing nothing is ridiculous. So at least if you make stricter gun laws, at least you're trying. But I'm telling you, it ain't going to matter.
It would have been nice. There was I think he was an ex-Marine, a guy who charged the shooter, got shot 7 times. Now I think he was military of some kind.
He was. He was a Marine.
He would have been nice. That would have been
nice if he had a damn gun.
If he would have had a gun, that guy would have been done. She tried to take him out barehanded. Got shot 7 times.
He actually rushed at him. The guy had a gun. He had nothing.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
By the way, that's a hero right there. That is a. You talk about courage.
Yeah.
Holy Christ.
I mean, if that guy had a gun, that guy's done. 1 shot.
Yeah.
Give a military guy a gun. And he was on the scene enough to be there. I mean, I don't know how early in it.
I just think the whole thing. Chris Mintz is the guy's name. I just think there's no easy solution. And when the gun control freaks start yelling and screaming as if that's going to cure it, it's not. What I'm telling you is it's a lot bigger and broader and sicker than that. Unfortunately, I wish, because again, I'm all for stricter gun laws. I wish that was it, but it's not.
I mean, I don't know how different strict the laws can get than they already are, but I know that I feel that there can be more effort put into, chasing down illegal guns. There can be more effort into keeping track of the guys once you become a registered gun owner, and the guys are posting things on Facebook and Twitter, with Nazi flags and guns.
But this kid wasn't a registered gun owner.
Right, but I understand.
The kid in Newtown, his mother was, and she paid the price.
But I just know, like, when they crack down on the war on drugs or they crack down on terrorism,
but they don't.
There was obvious changes made.
No, there weren't. Stop it. Crack down on the war on drugs. That's the biggest joke I've ever heard.
I mean, you're not going to stop it, but they certainly put a lot of effort. Well, they put a lot of effort into it.
What effort?
They were raids. There was all kinds of things going on.
So the Coast Guard would allow 30 boats to come in and bust the 31st to make it look like they're doing something? The millions and millions and millions of dollars this country makes on the drug trade? You believe that crap? There's no effort. It's bull. It's bull. Well, because they jailed Noriega after I mean, give me a break. I don't know.
Well, it's hopeless then.
It is hopeless. That's the point. Because society is hopeless. Well, are we the only society that's crazy people? Yes, we are. We are. I'm sorry.
Violently crazy.
Violently crazy. That's right.
I mean,
we're the only society, yes, that has as many violent, crazy, angry people. I really believe that's the case. I really believe this country has, and I said this on Facebook, is overwrought with anxiety, depression, anger. The idea that America is the place to go and you'll make it here, and that's over. That's over. I feel like for the first time in a long time, people feel like they're stuck here. Stuck. And there's no way to improve and nowhere to go. Not you people living in Boca or Palm Beach listening right now. You live in a fairy world. You guys have no idea what real life is all about. 98% of the country. I mean, if they go to Red Lobster, it's a huge night. New York Prime and Abe and Louie's and I mean, you guys down here, it's a joke. That's not America. That's not America. America's struggling, man. They don't feel like this is a great land of opportunity, and they still love the flag, and they hang it outside their door every single day. They say nice things, but they're stuck, and it's generation after generation after generation living in the same house on the same damn block in some poor place in America. That's real America, not Boca Raton, not Palm Beach, not even effing Pompano.
No, South Florida in general.
It's a joke. South Florida's a joke.
I remember when I used to travel with FAU that one football season, and we'd go into places like
how about Lafayette, Louisiana?
Alabama.
Oh God!
My God, I saw things that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
I've seen.
Well, listen, there was one point where Scott and I, Kaplan, were on 54 cities across America, and we went to Clarksville, Tennessee, and we went to Wisconsin. We went to places in Texas that would scare the living daylights out of you, like you talked about, Alabama. I mean, to just parts
to drive to the Troy University.
Detroit.
I mean, Troy was a paradise, and to get to Troy, you had to drive through. I mean, shacks.
Yeah.
I mean, wooden shacks with people sitting out on the front porch.
Yeah,
it was. I've only seen that stuff on TV.
That's America, a scared, downtrodden, poor, angry, depressed nation. Yeah, we wave the flag. We're the greatest. We're the greatest. I don't know. I love it here. I love America. I love America, but you know why I love? I can tell you why I love America. Well, I can tell you this. The proof is in that I know what's going on. Like, I'm scared of this new America. It scares me, and it's not about the amount of guns on the street. It's about the everyday culture, the mindset of this new America. We are so quick to say the greatest country, the greatest nation. I guess we still are, but it ain't like it used to be. And it's getting worse. And it's not because it's easier to get a gun in one city than the next. It's a deteriorating, eroding, moral, traditional value that's almost gone. Eroded to the core. That's the new America. Back after this.
Welcome back to the Sid Rosenberg Show.
And Coulter. Marco Rubio said on Meet the Press that if he just worried about Donald Trump all day, he wouldn't have time to do his own campaign. And if I just spent all day long reading all the people who are pissed off at you, I can do my radio show. The latest is Mark Levin. Mark Levin hates you. Well, what is that?
I think it's a cultural thing. He's hated me for a long time.
Yeah.
Tell them I'm a Gentile and to leave me alone. This anger baby nonsense, these morons don't seem to remember what the Civil War was. It was about ending slavery. That's what the 14th Amendment is about. It's a post-Civil War amendment. Supreme Court case after Supreme Court case has said this is about freed slaves, that they have citizenship. The Constitution, despite the framers of our Constitution being vicious white racists determined to keep the black man down, our Constitution never mentions race. It does not mention race. This is a document for all time and all people.
It's Sid Rosenberg on 640 Sports.
Everybody's taxes are going down, and some people won't pay tax, and the reason they're not going to pay, and I love the idea of having a little sort of fat in the game if we can, but the fact is these are people that are doing very poorly. I mean, they're making not a lot of money, and we're saving a tremendous amount of administrative costs and a lot of other things by not making them pay. Under my plan, I really think it's a very dynamic plan. We're going to grow the economy. Hey, if China does it 7%, they're having a terrible year. We're saying we can't do it 3% and 4%.
We just had 4% last quarter.
Well, and we can do it. Well, we also had 0% the first quarter.
I understand, but we just had 4% the last quarter.
And we've averaged a little less than 4%, but we had...
Right, 3.9.
Right. It was what?
3.9% last quarter.
But if you look at the overall average, we're doing 2% and we're doing less than 2% for the year. So we can do really terrifically. China, if they do 7%.
Right, but an emerging economy is always going to go 6-7.
But if we do 6 or 7%,
our sweet spot is 3 to 5.
Right. If we do 6 or 7% under my plan, everybody benefits.
We've never
jobs.
done that. We've never had a year
but
of 6 or 7%.
We can do that.
Get rid of it.
We have, even in the military, I'm going to build the military. It's going to be much stronger than it is right now. It's going to be so strong, nobody's going to mess with us. But you know what? We can do it for a lot less.
You know how many politicians have said this over the years?
But I'm not a politician.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. Oh, if I get waste, fraud, and abuse, and that's how I'm going to do it.
I know, but I'm not a politician. I'm a business guy. I mean, of course, for the last 3 months, I'm a politician.
It never happens.
But you watch it happen with me.
Donald Trump on Meet the Press with his tax plan, and you're not going to believe it. We're going to have 7%, and going to have a military that you're not going to believe it.
It's going to be great.
How many times has he said you're not going to believe it? It's going to be great. Sounds like an old Jewish grandpa. You're not going to believe it. LA Band checks in on Twitter. He says, "Hey, Sid, listening to you right now from Los Angeles on TuneIn Radio. We've got fans everywhere. The tickets are cheaper here for the Dodgers-Mets because Dodger Stadium holds 56,000 people. So that's why he says it's $58 when the tickets at Citi Field for Game 3 started about 130. This is Mike the Hind Sweeney. He says, Fort Hood, I should say, no carry zone, just like recruitment centers. Talking about the guy that shot up Fort Hood in terms of other people having guns to protect themselves. There's a reason why I played that Pink Floyd song. I mentioned this earlier today. I want to get back to that. And that is this piece of garbage, this piece of crap, this anti-Semite mother effer, Roger Waters. Jesus Christ.
That's an understatement.
Let me get to the story, and then I'll let you yell and scream because nobody protects Israel like you do. Nobody. Here it is. I know it's a couple of days old, but we'll get to it today. Rolling Stone magazine, Roger Waters slams Bon Jovi over Israel concert in an open letter. Roger Waters, the longtime bassist of Pink Floyd, penned a long open letter to Bon Jovi, slamming the group ahead of their October 3rd concert a couple of nights ago, which I heard was great, in Tel Aviv.
It was great. I'll give you reasons why when you finish.
Roger Waters, I guess, he's been angry. The former Pink Floyd bassist, long an opponent of Israel's stance toward Palestine, accused John Bon Jovi and his bandmates of standing, quote, shoulder to shoulder with Israel before listing many of the casualties suffered by the Palestinians at the hands of the Israeli government in an op-ed for Salon. Waters has routinely called on his fellow artists to boycott performing in Israel. Says he is standing shoulder to shoulder with the settler who burned the baby. That's how Roger Waters described Israel. And Bon Jovi standing shoulder to shoulder with the settler who burned the baby. I will tell you that John Bon Jovi, after performing in Tel Aviv on Saturday, and once again heard it was a great concert, came back and said, you're going to love this, to Roger Waters, one of the all-time greats, Pink Floyd, dropped dead.
Did he?
Yes.
Awesome.
Do we have that, Len? We don't have the audio, but you found that this morning, right? Bon Jovi's retort was dropped dead?
Yeah, his reply was dropped dead.
Dropped dead.
Letter.
Well, this is, first of all, I don't even know where to start. Roger Waters is English. Do you know what the history of England is? Conquering the world, conquering India, all they've done. Forget about even going back 300 years. In the last 120 years, starting in the 1900s, how bad the British and English were in Ireland, in India, in the Middle East, all over the world. So, and I won't even get into specifics, but I laid that out there. Okay, second. He is the BDS boycott leader for any musician that wants to go to Israel. So when the musicians sign up and they say, oh, we're going to tour here, and they hit Israel, he flies, meets them, and gives them reasons
He didn't fly
not
to meet Bon Jovi. Just, he actually, he was so frustrated and exasperated that he said, I'm not going to waste my time with this guy. So it got very ugly. But I'll let you continue in a moment. I heard Roger Waters on for like an hour with Howard Stern about a year ago, and I thought it was great. Not good, great. The history of Pink Floyd, some rock and roll mentions. And it wasn't long after that Roger Waters made a very anti-Semitic comment someplace else, and even Stern was talking about it like, what a piece of we had him in our studio for an hour.
I'm looking up right now. Of course, it's going to be hard to read because you see the. But in 2013, and in an interview with Counterpunch magazine, Waters made statements urging musicians to boycott Israel in response to their continued occupation of Palestine.
That's right. Which is bullcrap, by the way.
He compared Israeli domestic policies with those of Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You would not. Okay.
Stating the parallels with what went on in the 30s in Germany are crushingly
similar.
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
I'd love to see those examples. Now, let me hit on the terrorist baby that he said standing next to them. Now, there are terrorist Israeli Jews in Israel, the extremist Jews that we've heard about. And yes, they did burn a Palestinian home. They killed the family. And you know what Netanyahu did that very day? He met with the family and consulted them, stayed with them, and told them what a solution was. Now,
was that in response to those 3 teenagers being shot to death? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
And now, over this week, 2 days before Bon Jovi landed in Israel, a 4-year-old Israeli, their car was attacked with stones. They pulled a child.
Killed the mother and father.
Yes, the father died later. The mother, yes. They pulled the child out, slit the 4-year-old's throat.
Oh, my God.
The 2-year-old is alive, and the 9-year-old is alive, and I believe they had one other child that was alive. The 9-year-old had to lead the funeral a 9-year-old had to leave the funeral of her parents because she was murdered, and Hamas came out and said it was a courageous statement by the Palestinian terrorists by killing the family and slicing the throat of a 4-year-old. They're heroic and all these great
superlatives.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting a little crazy.
Well, no, I haven't known.
I'm getting a little crazy, but because it enraged me. And Roger Waters specifically.
Just so you know, there are people like that today here in Miami that are yelling and screaming like you about Joe Philbin. I mean, just to put things in its proper perspective, you're actually yelling and screaming about something that's really important and humane. And there are guys right now calling Joe Rose on WQAM, that moronic show, or Zaslow, or maybe Defoe, yelling and screaming like that, getting that upset over a guy that coaches a football team and makes $6 million a year. Just so you know.
You're right. You're 100% right. And not only when Israeli terrorists or Israeli Jewish terrorists commit these crimes, they get jailed immediately.
Immediately.
When it happens with the Palestinians, they get a parade.
Right.
They give candy out.
They get virgins.
Yeah, they start going in the streets with pieces of candy, giving it to children like it's a celebratory event. And Roger Waters is the biggest scum in this earth. I would tear him apart if he came at me because he has no facts.
75 years old.
He has no facts though. He's an alcoholic. He's a delusional moron, and he deserves to have his mouth completely shut, just like the movie The Wall, where they walk around with zippers on their lips, and just put him away in a cage till the guy dies. He made good music. It's the end. You're done. Go away. You moron. Get out of here. Nobody wants to hear you anymore.